Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today I'm going to go over a story titled, I cheated on my husband and ultimately divorced him, and I regret every bit of it. And a shout out to Mr. Arkansas for sending in this story. And guys, this story is about a now ex-wife who's on Reddit singing the blues, trying to get some maybe cosmic karma, if you will, to come her way by telling her story and acting remorseful, and sharing it because she had a good marriage and screwed the whole thing up. And gee whiz, how often does that happen? Married to this guy a number of years, and he was a good husband, and yeah, screwed the whole thing up and made him out to be the bad guy, and now she's realizing the grass isn't green on the other side. And this story is a great example just to show you how often this happens, and it does happen quite often, and how you never feel bad for them. When you hear them whining and complaining about, oh, there's no good men out there, or this happened here, or I regret this, I regret that, don't feel bad for them, because usually they screwed up themselves. Thought they could do better, the grass is green on the other side, became selfish, ignored what the good boyfriend or good husband did for them, and then, no pity here. So it starts off, says here, so this is going to be a long post, so I apologize in advance, but I have to get this off my chest. Well, with a girl writing this, of course, there's going to be a lot of yammering on. I'm here to give advice, not receive it, because I've already learned. No, you haven't. You are no place to give advice. There's no way you learn. You'd be doing the same thing again when another guy comes around. I don't need any comments about how horrible of a person I am, because I know I'm walking scum, and honestly, if I wasn't such a coward, I'd rather just die. Let's not get carried away. Let's not be dramatic. I married the love of my life about half a decade ago after meeting him in high school. We were almost together 10 years when we divorced, but only married for 5. I knew from the moment I met him that I loved him and he was special, and I would spend the rest of my life with him. Well, apparently not, sweetheart. You're the one that screwed the whole thing up. We didn't per se have the same childhood, but they were both taught their own ways. He adored me, looked at me like I was his whole world, did anything for me, and we were just best friends. And immediately what she said there, can guarantee is she knew it. She's like, I got this guy, putty in my hand. Some backstory to our high school. He had so many different friend groups and could just fit in wherever. I had one, and it wasn't like they were people I would have considered best friends. We never kept in contact after high school. He moved off to college a year before me with 3 of his good friends, which all ended up flunking out or moving home. Okay, that's pretty pathetic. Notice how she said about him, how he in high school had lots of different friend groups, could get along with anybody, and she had one, and even then they weren't that close. Little clues about her character here. His first year really did a mental breakdown on him because his roommate wasn't good. The next year I followed him and we moved in together. It was great, always getting to be together at the end of the day, and we loved it. We didn't live in a great part of town, and our house got broken into a few times, so he eventually ended up staying up all night to make sure we were safe, and then on top of our classes, took another toll on him. Well, that's a terrible situation. Better to move. His closest friends ended up drifting away from each other. One joined the military, one went to lineman school, and the other went across the state to college, so all we had was each other. I knew I was a loner, but I had always wanted friends, but I thought I'd accepted it. I wouldn't have any long-term friends at this point. He had not accepted this yet, but I think he realized his friendships were slowly dying. That same year, COVID hit the world, and we decided to leave this dreadful city behind and move to where my husband had some family and finish our classes online. I transferred schools and continued online, and he actually went one more semester and then stopped going. He had gotten a blue-collar job doing something he loved, and I think he just thought his degree would be of no use to him. That pretty much happens to most people. Or shall I say, they go in and they get their degree, spend a ton of money, ton of time, ton of effort, and realize it doesn't do anything for them. People are waking up to that. Trades is where it is at, and trades are where it's going to be, because that can't be replaced by AI, at least not yet. During the time that classes were online, I got to go be with him almost every day at his job, and I loved every minute of it. Then he moved to a bigger blue-collar job, and that had to stop, but I also graduated and got a big girl job. A big girl job? You mean just... Well, okay, good. You're helping pay the bills. Well, let's see what happens when she gets her big girl job and gets around other big girls, if you will. We bought our first vehicles together, bought our first house together, got animals, and really had the whole life, and I was in love with it. My first year working got lonely, though. I had a lot of time off, and he, being a blue-collar guy, worked a lot, and I missed him a ton. Okay, so you can see where this is going. Before, they were together quite often. It's okay if she misses him, if he's working all the time and she's not and doesn't have anybody else. That's fine, but it's how she handles this is her own undoing. The next year, I got what I would have called my dream job. It demanded more of me, and I gave more because I wanted to be great at it. It also was a position I became more well-known in this community, and I really wanted that. In my childhood, my mother left and never picked me, so I think my want to be seen and chosen was feeling like I was being filled in this position. Uh-oh, she's got abandonment issues, childhood issues for attention and validation, and here we go. In the meantime, I was making quote-unquote friends. I never had coworker friends nor friends in general since I graduated high school. I loved this, and I just wanted to fit in. I fed into the drama, the gossip, everything, just to be cool or seen. Here we go. Nothing like work drama. I'm going to read it again. I fed into the drama, the gossip, everything, just to be cool or seen. In other words, she got herself a group of female friends from the office, and here we go. And watch how this ruins the whole marriage that she said was so great and she was so in love with, and blah, blah, blah. At the same time, my husband was working a lot, and we had conversations about our life, and it's going to be going in different directions, and he didn't know if we could get back on track. I'd also asked him to take a weekend off work during the busy season to go to an event out of town with me. He said no, and when I asked why, he said he was looking out for him and putting him first. It hurt my heart to hear that. I now know I took it out of context, but at the time, I thought he meant he didn't really care about what I wanted and him being with me. From the day forward, we slipped away from each other. Now, here's the thing. I'm sure there's elements of truth in what she said, but I'm sure this is also greatly exaggerated. He's working all the time, and she's lonely, wants to spend time with him. Okay, I understand that. And frankly, you gotta make time for your wife, your girl, because otherwise, she's going to replace you. But it sounds like he's busting his tail in the early years to take care of them as a couple, provide, and so forth. Obviously, I'm guaranteed he makes more money than her. But the way, and she admits, you saw that she took it out of context. Well, watch what happens. One weekend, I went out with friends and didn't tell him I was going with a bunch of people. Oh, here we go. Now the deceit begins. He found out from someone else other than people that were going to be there. While a lot of people, including him, and rightfully so, thought I cheated that night, I did not. I don't know, honey. This is going to be very hard to believe given the way this is going. I did take my wedding ring off, though, and walk with my girlfriends as I wanted to feel what it was like to be single. Well, what does that say? She may not have physically cheated that evening, but it shows you that she's liking the idea of taking that ring off and being single, probably getting attention, seeing what would happen. You can see this is the downfall. Guarantee you he ain't doing that. Well, things came to a head. Shocker. He thought I cheated, and I had not. And I still wanted to save our marriage, so I sat back and tried. Well, do or do not. There is no try, and obviously don't try. Things went okay for a while, but then I started going to events again and hanging out with these so-called friends. The friends that there's drama and gossip and other things that she fed into to fit in, as she said earlier. How do you think this is going to go? In September, we went on a day trip, and it was going great, but it all came up, and he was beating on the steering wheel, yelling. I just felt like I couldn't do anything right. I now look back and know he was just trying so hard to save our marriage because he could see us slipping away. Well, smack to him. Clearly, this chick is a lot of freaking problems here. It's time to look at reality as it is, not as you want it to be, and time to think about the exit strategy for this guy. Well, in October, he said he was done, and if he had to keep chasing me down like this. I felt upset because after the initial weekend, he set boundaries that I thought were not fair because I hadn't cheated. I couldn't go to the events. I couldn't hang out with the said friends. I couldn't message them because he knew they were trouble. That's why. He was setting boundaries. You didn't see him going out to these weekends with a bunch of guys that are going to, you know, coerce him to do things that aren't so good as a husband. He's setting boundaries because he knows these people are a problem. She doesn't care. All the things I thought these boundaries were ridiculous, so I pushed and broke them. On my birthday, we went to a really nice restaurant, but it overlooked where the original dreaded weekend had taken place, and of course it came up. I ended up holding back as many tears as I could at dinner because of some of the stuff he said, and he profusely apologized. Okay, so he got pissed off, brought up the past and all that. He said a bunch of things that were probably warranted, but still hurt her feelings. He didn't want to do that, but drama, drama, drama. By New Year, we were hardly seeing each other. He was always gone, and I was home. I got fed up and said I was divorcing him and told my friends, but not him. Okay, so let's see how this goes. I ended up cheating on him with one of these friends during that time. Okay, she's telling the friends that she's getting divorced, but she's not telling the husband, and she's going to go hook up one of these friends. I guess they're not all a bunch of girls. Maybe he had a reason he didn't want her to be with these so-called friends. But probably in her mind, he's controlling me, and I'm going to rebel against him. He found out and was ready to leave. I fought hard to keep him, and I think it was out of guilt at the time. After about a month or two, I actually filed for divorce and was with this other person, you mean a guy, and in my heart, the whole time I knew I'd messed up and I regretted it, but I kept getting in deeper and felt like I couldn't get out. Sabotaging the whole thing. Remember in the beginning how she talked about how this guy was so amazing and the love of her life? I don't feel bad for her. His family knew and hated me at this point. Well, you can't blame him. The other person's family liked me. There was mending that had to be done with him, and I was just scared of the long, hard road ahead. So for months, I stayed with the other guy while not letting go of my husband. I wanted him the whole time. I just couldn't force myself to leave because I was scared of if my husband and I couldn't move forward, then what? At this point, I had asked if he would go see someone, and he wouldn't. So she's juggling two guys. She's selfish. He ended up sitting me down in a restaurant not long after and said that he realized his wrongdoings and shortcomings in the marriage, as well as mine, and was finally working on himself. Smack! In other words, she cheated on him and she treated him like shit, and he's still trying to make it work. And please come back because we could work through it. I still remember the look in his eyes, and I should have known he meant every word. I wanted to accept him right back then, but once again, I did not. Well, because she's selfish, and she was probably turned off by him. She is the asshole in the story here. Now, he was working all the time, it sounds like, but still, and I can get she was lonely, but doesn't justify her actions. She knew she was getting in over her head with the wrong crowd and all that, but nope, didn't care. I was afraid anytime we may have had an argument that he'd use it against me, or in general, maybe his family would just make it really difficult. So many things, but I should not have cared because now I miss him more than anything in this world and would give anything just to be with him again. Grass ain't greener. He finally was done and moved on, and now she wants him back. Never happy. You can never make them happy. So we get divorced. But I could never let him go. His one non-negotiable is still being friends with me, was me not seeing the other guy, and I just wouldn't do it. He even gave her a chance to be friends afterward, which is dumb. Nope, that one thing he wanted, nope, she's still going to be friends with the other guy. I always wanted something like this family had, and at this point, so how could I let it go? In reality, I knew in my heart who I really loved and wanted to be back with him. She just can't get out of her own way. She has to sabotage everything. A lot of women are like this. They think they aren't worth shit for whatever reason, and they gotta fuck everything up when they get a good guy. And then they whine and cry about it. Oh, woe is me. I messed everything up. Don't feel bad for him. I tried in the end to do just that. I ended up not being able to see him for good and could no longer talk to him. To this day, it breaks my heart, and I just want to move away from everything I've ever known with him where we lived together. I can't go anywhere without some sort of memory of him following me here. Boo-hoo, honey, you screwed the thing up. Own it. I'm haunted every day by it, how I treated the man who literally loved me unconditionally, provided me with the absolute best life, loved traveling everywhere with me. We had our silly names, we had our inside jokes, and to others, what may have seemed like a boring nightmare routine, but I cooked dinner and we'd get takeout, we'd be in bed, turn on a series we were watching. I should have fought so much harder, but the want for friends and people to like me overrode that. Now I think how ridiculous. I wish I had kept my first job, or hell, even done my second job, but not let it get to me. I treated him less than, and I never will be able to take him back. He hates me and has every right to do so. But I just hope he knows how much I love him and how sorry I am. Please, if this guy took her back, she'd be fucking hell up in 6 months, and you know it. I cry a lot, but even more than just that, I'm empty. The light inside me is gone, and it's just so dark. Okay, drama queen. And on a daily basis, I have to pretend I'm okay, but I'm not. I'm never not long for that man back or the love we had. Boo-hoo. Sometimes it's too late, so my advice is this. Please try before it's gone forever. Water the grass where you are. It won't look greener on the other side. Don't hurt the people you love because they won't stick around forever, and they shouldn't have to. They deserve so much more than that. Would you have thought about the cheating like this or something I could have saved? I know I can't be saved now, but I should have tried harder then. I would give anything to go back and be with him. Good God Almighty. And I'm sure a lot of you guys, and even my 4%ers out there, the women that watch me, known girls, women like this. And they whine and complain and boo-hoo about these things, and then they'll get another relationship with a good guy and screw the whole thing up. And boo-hoo, woe is me, don't be like me. They get the next guy, they get another chance, and screw the whole thing up. This is why you don't feel bad for them. And this is why, guys, a lot you can never make happy. So it's best you take care of yourself. End of freaking story. Now, I'm going to read a couple comments here, and let me tell you, even in the beginning, she's like, basically, I don't need advice. I don't need negative comments. Don't judge me. Well, people are anyway. I'll read a couple. One guy says, well, you sure messed that up about as much as you possibly could have. You pushed him away. He believes you cheated, and you agree to boundaries. You break the boundaries, he stops trusting you completely. So you then cheat on him with one of these friends you were originally worried about. Then you move in with the guy, but still lead on your husband. He offers reconciliation. You refuse. But deep down inside, you wanted him too. Now you're sad. This is 1,000% on you. And you have no right to bother that man anymore. Hey, freaking man. Another one. He says, good, you're just a cheater anyway, laughing my ass off. He deserved better than you cheating. Is a choice, and you broke something that's special. It's sad, really, how women like you ever get into relationships. It's so pathetic to hurt men who really have hearts of love. The fact that you had the audacity to say, I meant every vow. You evidently didn't because you did the one thing that's forbidden, cheating. Good luck, cheater, finding somebody else who would stick with you. Well, comment section is full of that. So anyhow, I don't feel bad for her. But anyway, guys, there you go. And I think I got to wonder, when I read these stories they post on here, I really think, like, in their minds, it's like some way to get out on paper. Maybe by writing it down, they'll do some good for the world, and through some cosmic intervention, whatever, my ex will come back in my life. I'll get a second chance because I just wrote that and confessed to me screwing up. No, it doesn't work that way. So there you go. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let's hear it, guys. If you know women like this, do you... family members, sister, cousins, nieces, exes, female friends, female coworkers. Do you know people like that? Have you heard people with similar complaints and they want a lot of pity and you don't give it to them? I'd like to hear about it in the comments section. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.